Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Gerardo Segat.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Gerardo is an international leadership coach and showrunner whose purpose and legacy is to humanize leadership. Following a wealth of experiences as entrepreneur, Gerardo has used his leadership background to create a coaching program created to humanize leaders, organizations, and their stockholders through creativity and powerful original experiences.
This is Cedric Francis, and you are listening to Lead to Greatness.
When I decided to exit my business, I wanted something with more human content to humanize leadership. The business went very well. It became a 400 people operation, 10 offices around the world. But then at a certain point, I just said, look, what's next? Somehow I didn't feel excited about opening a new office or having 10 more employees or more money. I just wanted to have more impact.
Yeah. You said humanize leadership. What do you mean by that? You break that down for us?
Humanized leadership means to have leaders being more human being.
Okay.
And specifically more who they truly are.
Got you.
I love learning by creating. And in the past, as a coach, I've created a corporate coaching program, a postgraduate training program, a format of corporate decision-making debate. And, the latest creation that I just finished a few months ago is Out as Humans, which is a live on-demand show that combines performing arts, storytelling, and powerful questioning. And it is featured for corporations, for leadership association, leadership conventions, with the purpose of uplifting humanity and authenticity in leaders.
I want you to you've been in leadership for years, for decades now, and that's your focus on humanizing leadership. What are some of the problems or some of the concerns that you've seen leaders make in the last few decades, and you say, you know what, I want to deal with this issue and change the way we see leadership?
I think the main one is that often behavior leaders are driven by fears. With that comes harmful defensive behavior. If you think about, ignoring, blaming, postponing, judging, attacking, destroying, from a loud discussion in the office to pushing a button to launch a missile. Those are all defensive behaviors from fears. What I'm trying to do is actually to move from a state of harmful defensive behavior to a state of courage and fulfillment, which is very much happens when the person, the leader, is the true self, authentic. Success being, I'd say, outcomes, no? Gotcha. So a lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of offices, a lot of these things. And so it's very much based on external recognition. So we care so much about external that we forget internal. And we have forgotten internal. So, that's the main point. We need to move to a state where people set inner development goals, inner objectives, and look more inside. And the job of leadership becomes an inside-out job. Starts inside and then goes outside. The first one is really to start setting yourself inner goals. Okay. Inner goals, can mean many things, no? But that's a very, very important initial step.
Okay.
And then the second, obviously there is difficulty in terms of people, opening up, being authentic, being vulnerable. But again, it's a job that happens gradually.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen from one day to the other. The second thing that I see as a problem is that often, even when it gets internally, it's very much superficial.
Mm.
It doesn't really go deep down, no? And often people, sometimes in the coaching, you into a situation where, you see, for example, fear of failing, no? People have fear of failing something, or fear of dreaming big.
Mm.
And even the approach in coaching is always flip that into a positive state, and then try to see, what's there to conquer. No,
Yeah.
but the reality is that this fear of failure, or fear of not having a purpose, or fear of dreaming, are just intermediate fears. You
Mm.
know, one should ask yourself, okay, but why do I fear failure? And if you continue to ask yourself why, you get to what are the ultimate fears. And therefore, by flipping them into something positive,
Yeah.
you actually get to what are your, ultimate inner treasures as a leader.
Yeah.
And then set that as an objective. Go and conquer that, because then it will have a ripple effect on all of the rest.
And you say keep asking why. So what are some of the, I guess, techniques if you were coaching someone, what advice would you give them as far as asking them the why? Like how many times should they ask why?
There isn't a fixed number
Okay.
of time, no.
Okay.
It is just don't just sit back and relax on, well, I have fear of failure, for example. It
Yeah.
is ask yourself, maybe you don't find an answer, and that's your ultimate, okay?
Mm.
So what I would suggest is start thinking and setting yourself inner objectives. Start
Okay.
looking inside. Self-awareness is a key word. Mindfulness helps, is a small first initial step that you can do. Mindfulness somehow, where you when is building self-awareness of yourself, of your
Yeah.
thoughts, of your emotions,
Yeah.
and then move gradually and go deeper and deeper. For myself and the community and the clients, all leaders then at the end of the day get to the same treasure, same ultimate fears, and therefore same ultimate treasures.
Mm.
Okay. And those treasures, and it's very strange to say it as a person or as a leader, but that because nobody sets themselves those as a goal.
Yeah.
But the ultimate fears of a leader are fear of being meaningless. So
Mm.
having no meaning in what you do or who you are. The second one, very common, is loneliness.
Mm.
Fear of being lonely or ending up alone in the future.
Mm.
And then the third one is fear of dependency from something or somebody. And the fourth one is fear of uncertainty.
Wow.
Now, if you flip those four into a positive state, you get to the inner treasures of a leader, what I call the inner treasures of a leader, which are meaning, love, freedom, and certainty. This is where you should aim.
Yeah.
Find inner meaning. How do I find inner meaning?
Yeah.
How do I find, where do I find inner love?
Yeah.
Not based on somebody else. As
Yeah.
soon as they find something that is stopping, stopping being able to reach an objective, or
Right.
being able to show a skill, or to show it to a full potential. It's not something very common to walk up, let's say, the ladder of the fears, because it normally they flip it normally into something positive, and therefore don't go and look into this. But I think most of the people really do. If you sit and you look, start maybe from, what are the harmful defensive behavior that you have at work? If you shout, if you blame, if you judge, if you ignore, if you destroy, what are those? And what are the causes of these behaviors, and what are the causes of this fear? And you get to what it's, ultimately meaningful for you.
Yeah. I've met people, leaders, individuals, period, that have this drive and they become successful. But the drive and the success is built on some type of internal, like maybe as a child, somebody told them they would never be nothing. And so they spend their whole life trying to prove something. They're successful, but they're unhappy. It's working on their behalf, but it's also working against them.
I actually been one of them. That's why, I reached success. I had this, as an entrepreneur. I wasn't unhappy. In my case, it wasn't unhappy. I simply felt empty. I said, okay, what's next? And somehow I didn't feel fulfilled by adding one more office. So it happens many, many times, and that's exactly what I said. It is when you are looking, when you have the drive and are determined to look for outcomes from outer objectives, no?
Gotcha.
So money, recognition, power, cars, yachts,
Houses,
employees, those kind of things. You can be successful even without, and there's plenty, the world is plenty of people. But the reality is that sooner or later, either you feel unhappy, okay, either you have regrets, and if you're lucky, the latest is just before you pass on into a new life.
Yeah.
And there are cases of famous entrepreneur that, then when the end was approaching, then they start having all regrets of any kind. And so for sure, sooner or later, if this is your approach, you will end up with regrets and unhappiness. So it is worth, as soon as you can, just change the approach, look inside, and set yourself in objectives and find your path, find your way, find your job, something that has been created for you and that is going to give you fulfillment, courage, etc. Even if you feel that you're actually on the right path for you, just assume you're not. What I would suggest is that at least work with a coach, because working with a coach will take you inside, okay? Will take you on your values, will take you on your identity, will take you on who you are. That work will certainly tell you whatever is the reason, whatever the objective that you want to reach, but will take you inside, and you will have the chance to see if there is something to adjust, if there is something, if you're on the right path, on the right road for you. You will start gradually becoming familiar with an inside-out approach. And looking inside, you will build self-awareness for sure, about your thoughts, emotions, strength, etc. So that's my suggestion to anyone, to be honest, to anyone who hasn't done it yet. Just do it. And even if you think everything is perfect, because it might not be.
You said something, and I really want to kind of touch on this. You mentioned, your values and your identity. When you discover your value, should anyone, regardless of what your values are, should we ask the question why, to kind of investigate ourselves on why we value what we value?
No, not necessarily. When you get to, first of all, it's an important and a good job to get to those values.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you get to the value, I think the most important thing is on one side to really do further step and
Yeah.
say, okay, who am I? If you're asking, who is Cedric?
Yeah.
Who is Gerardo? Who am I? Why am I here? What is my existential purpose? Why am I in this world? I know these are big questions, okay, but these are extremely important. Once you get to the values, you might as well go into that direction. The other thing to do is, okay, but the kind of life that I'm having, personal and professional, does it reflect these values? So I understood that my values are ABC.
Yeah.
And now I look at my life, what I do in my personal life, in my professional life,
Yeah.
and can I see those values in there?
Yeah. I guess better late than never. For me, it's maybe 4, maybe 5 years ago when I took this value thing. It had a list, probably about 40, 50 different words or whatever. And I circled all the words that was meaningful to me. And then out of all those words I circled, I went through the circle and I wrote down the top 5 that resonated with me the most. That was a game changer for me. It really taught me some things about myself. And I did these values and it really changed the trajectory of what I say yes to and what I say no to. For the most part, like where I work, how I want to spend my time. It changed all of that for me. So this is really good what you're sharing right now because I personally, this has benefited me and I'm still on my journey, but I mean, it's been very beneficial. On a personal level, what has understanding your values, what has it done for you?
Understanding your value means that then you decide what you do and how you do it according to your values.
Yeah.
Okay. So even on the personal side, that's very important. On major choices, we have a profession, it is the work that you do. But on the personal is the partner you have,
Yeah.
the decision you take about your family, where
Yeah.
do you live?
Yeah.
All the major personal decisions are affected
Yeah.
by your values, your awareness
Yeah.
of your values. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important, to look at the values. You looked at a certain thing, you spent some time, and you reach to those 3, 4 words.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do a work with a coach, the coach will say, okay, let's assume that that value is already there. Okay. What's more important than that for you? Okay. What is behind that you want to reach that is even more important than whatever you reach? Okay.
Yeah.
So the coach takes you to your ultimate values.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what it will do.
Yeah.
Once you have identified those are, a torch when you walk, wherever you walk, those values will help you in any decisions that you take,
Yeah.
major decisions that you take, personal and professional.
Yeah. For the listeners, what are 3 key lessons you would like the audience to take away from that journey of leadership?
One, be authentic and be who you truly are.
Yeah.
The other one is don't assume that you are on the right path. Okay, there is a path that was created for you. Just make sure, even if it is when you are 50, 60, whenever you get to the path. And try to get to that path as quick as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't, and then I moved, but get to your path as quick as possible. And the other one is start looking inside yourself, set yourself inner objectives, even, emotional goals. We never say, if I think about an important meeting, you get into that meeting often with an objective, which is a fact, no? Oh, I want the contract signed. I want, whatever it is. It is a factual objective. okay? You never ask yourself, how do I want to feel after that meeting? Okay, if you ask yourself and start setting yourself emotional goals to events, okay, you see this will affect how you prepare for the meeting, and this will affect what you do in the meeting. Okay? How do I want to feel at the end of the meeting? So start, even adding inner development goals or emotional objectives to, events. Start building some self-awareness of yourself. Mindfulness, I say mindfulness because it's the very easy first step that it's available. There are many apps for mindfulness. It is still, a first step towards getting inside.
Oh, those are a load of knowledge bombs. This is really, really, really good. Really, really amazing information that you're sharing with us on today. And the Lead to Greatness community is definitely going to be better because of this. What are some other projects that you are currently working on?
So today, Out as Humans is a show, and I am the host of the show.
Okay.
So now I am expanding. I'm creating shows. I'm kind of franchising Out as Humans with other hosts. So I am selecting clients, potential hosts who have powerful stories, who like the idea, like saying their story through Out as Humans, and like to go around the world to feature the show. So franchising, expanding so that lots of Out as Humans shows are happening in the world. That's something that I am currently, in the near future. And I have plans for the future in a few years. Well, I say, okay, I talked before about this kind of pyramid of harmful defensive behavior and fears. This is something that you can try and do yourself. Okay, just keep on asking. Once you get to a stage where there is no why, and it is, then it's probably the top. Also, emotional goals, I said, that's another practical thing. So just, when you have a certain event that matters to you, a meeting, or so try to set yourself some emotional goals also. So how do I want to feel at the end? And the third thing I would say, which is again a kind of a easy, understandable, quick, accessible way, is something that is called in Japanese ikigai. So start having a look at this ikigai, Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese word that means flower, and somehow it is a way that takes you to identify what is your purpose, existential purpose in life, combining what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So it's like 4 petals, and in the middle, your existential purpose. What you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for.
I'm actually, as soon as we get off, I'm definitely going to do some research on this. This is pretty interesting and intriguing. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If somebody wanted to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Just visit my website, gerardosegat.com. There you find information also about the show, Out as Humans, pictures, trailer, testimonials, how to get involved.
Absolutely. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
My pleasure, Cedric.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.